Tonight at 9, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are taking the stage. Find out what we know going into this debate.
Plane crash. A plane crashed in Henry County today. We have the updates on what happened.
Appalachia students in Georgia returned to their school days after a fellow classmate killed 4 peers. See how they are recovering after the tragedy.
Dozens of people were killed and injured in airstrike in Gaza. Find out why Israel ordered an airstrike.
We're tracking warmer weathers. NewsLink Indiana starts right now.
Local news about local people, live from Ball State Unified Media. You're watching NewsLink Indiana.
Good evening and thank you for being with us tonight. I'm Mira Bloomer.
And I'm Trey Lawrence. The presidential debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump is happening now.
And it is going to be different than the previous debate. As the two take the stage in Philadelphia, there is currently no clear leader in the polls. This is the first debate between the two since President Joe Biden pulled from the election race in July. Similar from the debate between Biden and Trump, there will be no public audience tonight. Microphones will also be muted unless it's the candidate's turn to speak.
A small plane crashed earlier today in Henry County. NewsLink Indiana's Abby Urban went to the scene to learn more.
This is as close as we could get to the scene here in Henry County, as state police have confirmed one person is dead after a plane crashed here on a private landing strip near US 36 and North County Road 200 West. We will continue to keep you updated as the public information officer communicates with state police and the FAA. In Henry County, Abby Urban, NewsLink Indiana.
Police in Nebraska have a suspect in custody after a student was shot at an Omaha high school today. The 15-year-old victim was hospitalized in critical condition. The suspect is also believed to be a student. Police said there were no remaining threat to the community. It appears to have been an isolated incident between the two students. After the shooting, the school went on lockdown for an hour. The lockdown was lifted and students were released room by room.
In Georgia, Appalachia High School students are still grieving after the deadly mass shooting that killed 4 people yesterday. Some students returned to school to get their personal belongings. Teresa Bowles has more.
From instruments to backpacks to clothes, I watched dozens of students making their way in and out of Appalachia High School to retrieve what they could. Many of them accompanied by their friends and parents, with a hand on their shoulder or a hug for support. Some students couldn't help but shed a tear running across the flowers and kind messages adorning the school. Inside, 9th grader Melanie Monty says it was different, weird even, but not bad. She shares what she left behind in a panic last Wednesday.
We had to leave our stuff. I left my phone because I kind of got scared when they were banging on the doors. Dropped it. I came back for mostly just that, but I also grabbed my instrument.
And after going inside of the school, most of the students are stopping by the growing memorial here to pay their respects.
School students did not resume classes today. However, all other schools in Broward County were expected to return on class today, according to officials.
No, it's definitely been, it was a cooler weekend for sure, which was very nice.
Oh, you are so right. I am so ready to put on all my fall outfits.
Oh, you have some fits going on?
Yeah, I have some sweaters I got from Goodwill,
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
I'm ready to rock those out this semester.
I got you. I'll keep a lookout.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what Evan has for us for weather.
Yeah, we'll definitely be able to get you in some of those fall fits that you might have, especially with some of the temperatures now. Looking at current temperatures here in Muncie right now, we're looking at around 67 degrees. Down in Indianapolis, it's actually a little bit warmer, still 74 degrees down there. While down in southern Indiana towards Evansville, we're looking at 71 degrees. Looking at our 24-hour temp change, it's actually 5 degrees cooler here in Muncie than what it was yesterday. Down in Indianapolis, about the same, and again down in southern Indiana, it's still about that 3-degree difference. Some of the headlines that we got tonight, we've got clear skies, warm temperatures, and maybe some end-of-the-week rain.
Thank you so much, Evan. In Gaza, officials say dozens of people have been killed and injured after an Israeli airstrike on an area, which was supposed to be a safe humanitarian zone for displaced Palestinians. A desperate search for survivors is underway, but Gaza's civil defense says crews are facing great difficulty in retrieving victims due to the lack of resources. Israel says it was striking Hamas terrorists operating a command center embedded in the humanitarian zone, and it took steps to prevent harm to civilians. But a Gaza civil defense spokesperson says there was no advance warning of the strike. Hamas denies its fighters were present in the area.
On October 7th, Yair Golan, a former major general in the IDF, saw a power void in leadership and took action. He put on his old army uniform and drove south to defend the people there. Now, as a political leader of a new center-left coalition party called the Democrats, he's trying to fill another power void. As war continues in Gaza and as tensions ratchets up in the northern border and on the West Bank, he's working to unite the opposition of the president a viable alternative to Netanyahu's government. This is what Golan has to say about what critics say that he cares more about getting Netanyahu out of office than getting closer to a ceasefire.
We should not take any political consideration right now. It's much more about national considerations and moral considerations. We need to free all the hostages as soon as possible.
Golan's overall goal is to have a ceasefire and recover Israel. He shared that the leaders must unite in order to make this happen.
I had them last
Stay
year.
tuned for a craft vendor's story and how her business grew.
And a spotlight look on one of the groups taking on this year's film challenge.
Dear moms and dads, what you have achieved here today is going to help us and our futures. It is why we are coming up on stage to collect your diplomas.
You know it's true.
Mom, we love you always.
Everything I do.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Man, it's lonely. Like, going through life lonely.
There is the therapeutic aspect of music, just expressing how you feel. I'm going to talk to Howie about his feelings, make it into a song.
In the suburbs of Grant County, the town of Matthews hosted their annual Covered Bridge Festival. This festival hosts over dozens of vendors who are looking to showcase their businesses. But for one vendor, it means a whole lot more. Desiree Stanley has turned her hobby into a business and only has her mother to thank her for that inspiration.
And me and my mom always craft together. And one year she bought me a Cricut to make shirts, and it just went from there.
After the start of Stanley's business, her mother passed away. However, that did not stop her from continuing her passion. Stanley has been a vendor for over 7 years and hopes to continue growing her business, but believes her business has been able to grow because of her determination and support from the local community.
The annual Ball State 48-Hour Film Festival starts this weekend. NewsLink Indiana's Braylon Judy sat down with one group whose passion for film is giving them hope for the upcoming festival.
Last weekend, Ball State student-led Dreamscape Studios competed in their third annual film festival in their hometown of Kokomo, Indiana, to gear up for the upcoming Ball State 48-Hour Film Festival. The studio consists of lifelong friends that have been making mini-movies since first grade. It all started with one singular camera and an idea. What made you start making movies?
I got a camera when I was in first grade, and after that, I had watched so many behind-the-scenes things when I was little. I was obsessed with like every behind-the-scenes like documentary, and I just decided that I wanted to make it too.
This time, they were given the theme of heist, which was a new genre for the event. Last year, they were given Western and won Best Writing with their film Colors That Bleed. Their 48-hour film career has led the group to meet talent from all over Kokomo, even recruiting multiple students from the high school they attended, which gave the group connections they would have never had if not for the love of film.
It was a heist film, that was our genre. We had to film in 48 hours, and we did film in 48 hours. And then our lovely director and editor, Brady, patched together a good film to put on and got Best Director for it. So I think the results were pretty good. Pretty good.
During the film festival, the crew shared plans about the upcoming Ball State 48-hour film contest. The group is looking to do something innovative and unique with the genre they are given. In Muncie, Braylon Judy, NewsLink, Indiana.
The kickoff for the 48-hour film festival starts on September 13th at 6 p.m. in the David Letterman Building.
Today is World Suicide Prevention Day. Worldwide, 800,000 people die from suicide each year. It's the leading cause of death among 15 to 29-year-olds. The International Association of Suicide Prevention has launched a campaign to create hope through action. If you need help in the U.S., you can dial 988 to reach the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
We are actually tracking some rain coming into the system. Make sure to stay tuned for the full forecast.
As a dad, every day is a challenge. To make sure that the time that I spend with them, it doesn't matter how tired you are, you have to try to teach them. When they learn something new and you can just see in their faces, it's such an incredible moment. It's those moments that are my favorite.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
When tornadoes touched down in parts of our viewing area, NewsLink Indiana kept you informed days in advance.
You do need to be seeking shelter.
Marginal risk of severe weather.
And days after.
The roof has been ripped completely off of this house,
giving you a first-hand look at the communities affected.
When your neighbors lose their house and you don't, how lucky you are.
The first to alert you of severe weather before it happens. NewsLink Indiana Weather.
Can't believe you're doing this alone. I've done it before. I remember you threw your back out. How you holding up? Hand me that board. Nothing wrong with getting help. I'm good. I did it when Felicia left. I'll figure it out. I know you will, but you don't have to do it alone. That's all I'm saying. If I promise to look into it, will you drop it and help me build this fence? Now you need my help. It can be a real pain sometimes, you know that? Mm-hmm.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Forecasters say Hurricane Francine could be a Category 2 hurricane by the time it makes landfall. Storm preparations are underway in Gulf Coast states today. As Francine strengthens off the Texas shore, Francine is expected to make landfall in Louisiana tomorrow. Forecasters predict dangerous storm surge and flooding along the coast. Forecasters say Francine could make it as far north as the lower Midwest. They say it's likely to be a depression by then.
All right, so looking at our weather now, our current temperatures here in Muncie, again, is still 67 degrees. Down there in Indianapolis, 74. While down in Evansville and southern Indiana, it is around that 71-degree mark. Looking at today's almanac, today's high was 86, which is around our average high, only about a 5-degree difference, with temperatures on our average being 81. With the record high being set back in 2013, it was around 92 degrees, so we are nowhere close to that. Looking at weather tonight, we're going to have some mostly clear conditions with temperatures dropping to those low 54 degrees, with winds blowing from the northwest at around 5 miles per hour. Looking into tomorrow, however, we can see we're going to have another cooler morning with temperatures being around 57 degrees. While at noon, temperatures will rise pretty rapidly up to that 81 degree mark, with our high again being around 86 degrees. We're actually tracking Hurricane Francine now. Down there by Texas, off the coast of Texas, we're actually seeing it moving with wind speeds at around 75 miles per hour, and it is moving northeast at 10 miles per hour. And like you guys said earlier, it is expected to make landfall sometime tomorrow afternoon. And this is how it is actually going to affect us here in Indiana. So we can see actually some cloud cover moving in here on our precision cast around Friday night at around 9 p.m., 6 o'clock, that sort of time, with rain coming in during that time. And moving into the weekend, we can actually see that cloud cover still remains here with some scattered showers definitely expected throughout the weekend. Now looking at our 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, here in the Midwest, it is definitely going to be a little bit above average temperatures for this time of the year. However, out on the West Coast, we're definitely looking at some below average temperatures out there. But taking a closer look at the weather that we might have this week, on Thursday, we're looking at a high of around 88 and a low of 63 that night. However, with Hurricane Francine moving in, the temperatures will be dropping to around 81 with chances of rain being around 40%. While then moving into the weekend, we can see those chances of rain and scattered showers continuing with temperatures being in those mid-80s, 84 and 83 respectively. Then moving into next work week, we can see the clouds kind of moving in still, while also some temperatures in those mid-80s.
Thank you so much, Evan. There's lots more to get to on NewsLink Indiana. Jace has a preview of sports.
Team win streak is HOTTOGO, and the Delaware County High School football team cracks the top 10 in rankings. All this and more next in sports.
It's something about having that piece of paper. Some people think that's worth more than my skills.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
You just gotta be so good they can't ignore you.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Analytics and empathy. That's how I've gained clients.
I am more.
I'm more
than who I am on paper.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere. And just growing up the way I grew up, and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
¿Qué color? Perfecto, amigo.
Gracias. Thank you.
What's wrong, amigo?
Donating to a pet's medical care is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
At night, NewsLink Indiana brings you the news before you go to bed.
But Friday mornings, you're waking up with Cardinal Weather, bringing you up to speed on the day's top stories.
And giving you up-to-the-minute conditions from the Ball State Weather Center.
And of course, lots of fun.
I gave mine personality. Look, it's got eyebrows. Ooh.
My lucky glove didn't even work.
But I also am excited for those fall temperatures.
Start your Friday mornings with Cardinal Weather, live on the Cardinal Weather Facebook page.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Jace Miller with sports. This past Sunday, the Cardinals hosted Queens in soccer, striking hard with a 7-1 win on Senior Day. This extends the women's win streak to 3. Coming off 3 road games and a 2-game win streak against Michigan and Austin Peay, Ball State's soccer team came out swinging against Queens at the Briner Sports Complex this Sunday. The first half would conclude in a 1-0 score with a sole goal from Delaney Caldwell, while the second half is where the team really showed out. The women would rack up 7 goals, staggering Queens and keeping them to just 1 goal. This performance is tied with the second highest amount of goals in the program's history, the first being 11 goals versus Youngstown State in 2000.
Going on the road, those are kind of these bonus games as well, right? You got to go win games on the road, but then you got to defend home turf. And so I think it's, we had 3 in a row that were on the road, so it's nice to be home now for a little bit. The focus now becomes IU Indy, right?
Bryner Sports Complex is gearing up for even more action as the girls prepare for IU Indy and Bowling Green the next 2 consecutive Tuesdays, looking to take both victories and preserve the win streak. Keeping it on the turf, Ball State men's golf flew to North Carolina for the Bryan National Collegiate Tournament. Braxton Kuntz led the Cardinals after 3 rounds, 6 under par to finish in 3rd place. Cash Belair and Ali Khan in this tournament at 38th and 42nd at 9 and 10 over par. Carter Smith and Avery Mahoney both shot 14 over par, landing the team with an 8th place finish. The Cardinals fly home for the Put Me In Coach Invitational at Delaware Country Club this weekend. To chip it into the hardwood, a class of 1995 legend will be inducted to the MIVA Volleyball Hall of Fame. As a 3-time All-MIVA tournament team member, Greg Romano led the Cards to 2 back-to-back MIVA titles in 1994 and 1995, going to the NCAA tournament both years. In his senior year, Romano ranked 2nd in kills per game and 4th in digs per game. By the end of his career, Romano finished the top 5 in digs, kills, blocks, aces, and attack percentage. His induction will take place November 2nd in Columbus, Ohio. The Week 4 Indiana Football Coaches Association Coaches Poll has been released. Only 1 Delaware County team made the cut this week as the 3-0 Delta Eagles rank 8th in Class 3A. The Mississinawa Indians didn't quite crack the top 10 for Class 3A, receiving 13 total votes. Delta will head to their rivals in Yorktown on Friday, while the Indians will face Frankton on the road. And high school football is in full swing. College football is in full swing. Ball State finally played a game. We won. We won this past weekend.
I'm so happy.
Now we got to go to Hard Rock Stadium in Miami and play the U.
I hope they keep that energy up. I mean, it was great to see their first game as a win. Definitely gets the whole energy of the whole stadium involved, and I love it. I love dressing up for the games.
Oh, me too. I love seeing those people with those big overalls on.
Yeah.
Those are brand new to me.
Those are great.
The bibs are definitely a great fashion accessory.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Jace. Coming up, find out about a snack impacting the environment.
And the discovery of fossils in a unique place.
Attacks against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders are on the rise.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer. In terms of the hate crimes, I think there is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
NASA says the Europa Clipper spacecraft is set to launch next month to explore one of Jupiter's moons. Yesterday, the spacecraft passed a key milestone and has been approved to launch. Europa is an ice-covered world that may have the potential to support life in its salty subsurface ocean. The Europa Clipper carries instruments that could determine whether life is possible on another place in our solar system besides Earth. The launch window opens on October 10th.
Some doggies got soggy for good cause this weekend. 50 dogs and their owners met up at the Dog Beach in Del Mar, California for the Helen Woodward Animal Center's Surf Dog Surfathon. It is their longest running dog surf event in the nation, and it raises funds for local services that take care of at-risk or orphan dogs. Canines of all kinds and sizes took part in the contest.
Now, I'm definitely hoping for some cooler temperatures, but obviously I know we have a warm week right now.
Yeah, looking at our 7-day forecast, a whole lot isn't really going to change. Again, as I said in my 7-day forecast, temperatures will try to be in those high 80s, low 80s once that rain kind of comes in on Friday due to that Hurricane Francine. So we're definitely looking at some of those warmer temperatures and a little bit warmer nights coming up, but I am ready to get kicked off for this fall. I'm, like you guys said, I have some fall outfits that I'm ready to get back into. I'm ready to get back into jeans and my flannels. Those are always fun. So yeah.
Getting close. Thank you so much. A case of littering had a chain reaction on the environment, all from a bag of cheesy snacks found underground. National Park Service officials issued a call to action about a little bit of litter with a whole lot of environmental effects. It started with an open bag of Cheetos found dropped inside New Mexico's Carlsbad Caverns, where only water is allowed. The snacks formed a perfect environment to quickly spread mold and fungi via hungry critters and insects. Rangers said the spilled snack may seem trivial, but to life in the cave, it can be world-changing.
A Los Angeles high school holds some ancient secrets that researchers say date back to 9 million years. Los Angeles school officials shared what researchers discovered buried under the campus of San Pedro High School. Findings include fossil bone beds, shell layers, teeth from megalodon sharks, and bones from baleen whales, along with extinct dolphins, saber-toothed salmon, sea turtles, shorebirds, and many fish species. Experts say the fossils offer the most precise map yet of Southern California's marine life from 9 million years ago.
Now, that's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana, and be sure to tune in tomorrow night at 9, streaming live on the NewsLink Indiana Facebook page.
And for news anytime, anywhere, go to ballstatedaily.com. Have a great night and stay safe.